Okay, welcome back. In this video, let's set up Python decouple for storing the secret information inside the .env file. Okay, so let's first go to the Python decouple installation guide. Python decouple, and here is this official guide. So first thing you have to do is to install Python decouple. Okay, copy this, and using pip we can install Python decouple. So go to this Django terminal and stop your server. Make sure the environment is activated and paste it here. Pip install Python decouple. Okay, so Python decouple is installed, and then next you can see the usage here, right? Scroll down, you can see why should we use Python decouple, and all these things are here, right? All these useful information is here. So here you can see usage, install, we are done with this install, and then use it on your settings.py. Okay, so the first thing we have to import config. Okay, first from decouple import config. I'll go to settings and import that config. Okay, from decouple import config. All right, and next you can start using this config function to fetch the secret key. Okay, so how to fetch the secret key? Because already the secret key is here, right? So we want to separate this value, right? So this works as a key and value fashion. Okay, so this is a key and this is the value. Okay, so let's set that up. So in your root folder, okay, make sure you are in the root folder, create a new file and call it as .env. Okay, .env. In your root folder, you create one .env file, and then what you do is just copy this one, and this is your secret key, and just get rid of this spaces. We don't want spaces, and this is also we don't need this quotation marks as well. Okay, so this is the configuration now. Okay, so inside this .env file, we will be storing all the configuration about our project. Okay, I mean, when I said configuration, it's about the password and all those secret information. Okay, so this should not be exposed to public. Okay, so that is the reason we are storing all these secret information inside this .env file. Okay, once this key and value is here, we want to fetch this value inside the settings in order to run our Django project, right? Now we cannot use secret key like this, right? So for that reason, what we can do is we can use a config. That's what we have imported here, right? From decouple import config, right? This config function we can use. This config function will take the key which is inside a .env file. Okay, so this config function will take the key of this .env file, which is secret key. Okay, so if you want to load secret key, just put the key here. Okay, so this is the key. So this will fetch the value of secret key. Okay, this will fetch this value. All right. Now this is done, and right now we also want to store this debug equal to true inside the .env, because that is also a secret information, right? So that is why just get rid of this equal, and by default it is true, but you know what, just save this, put this here, and this one we will load from config. And what is the key name? It is nothing but debug, right? Just pass this key here. Okay, now there's one problem. While fetching this debug value that is true, so what it will do is it will just show as like this, true, as a string. But debug is actually not a string. It is actually a Boolean value, right? It should be like this, Boolean value. Okay, it should not be inside the single quotation or double quotation, right? So that is considered as a string, but this debug true is actually a Boolean value. So that's the reason we have a parameter called First of all, I'll say debug, okay, and also you can set it as a bool. Okay, for that you say cast equal to bool. Okay, cast equal to bool, so that it will print like this, true. Okay, true or false, not a string. Okay, it's a boolean value. And if you want this debug to be false for some reason as a default, you can also set default equal to false. Okay, you see, debug. And then this is the optional parameter, and this one you have to put in case you want to pass any specific data type. Okay, so in this case it is a cast equal to bool. And if you go to the documentation, also it is there, debug, you see config debug, default if you want to set false, and cast equal to bool. All right, and then there are no secret information except email configuration, and the database is the default database, right? So if we had any custom database like a Postgres or something, then we should have been setting this database credentials as a secret information, right? But this is very simple. This is just a default database. We don't want to put that inside .env. It's just move on. And then this email configuration. So this email configuration we want to put inside the .env file. Okay, so simply copy. Okay, so this one you don't need to put that inside .env, and this one is also not a secret information. Okay, just only these 4 things. Okay, and first thing, you get rid of this spaces, and the single quotation or the double quotation, if it has, just delete it. Okay, email host, port, a host user, host password. Okay, now here what you have to do, you just have to say config, and the key name is the email host, right? So this is the same email host, right? This is what the key is. Just pass this email host is equal to config of email host. Now this is 587, which is an integer value, right? So say config, say email port, email port, and comma. This is not a string, right? So in this case, you should set cast is equal to int. Okay, you have to specifically put this as a integer value. Okay, and then email host user, which is config is equal to config. Pass this email host user. All right, and then this is a password. We'll set config of email host password. Okay, so only this much. Okay, so this will be email use TLS is equal to true. That is okay. That's not a secret information, and default email. Okay, so this is about the configuration, and this is actually how we store the secret information in the .env file. Now the last thing that we want to do is, if you keep it like this .env file is also going to the GitHub, right? We don't want this .env file to go to GitHub. Okay, so that's why what you have to do, you just have to say .git ignore. Okay, inside this .git ignore, just make sure if there is .env is included. Okay, you see .env is already included. If it is not included in your .git ignore file, then this .env file is go to the GitHub. Okay, so just make sure it is there. All right, now yeah, that's about .env, and we are ready to send email in the next video.